You're watching WDSU.
Right now at 5, 2 suspicious fires just blocks apart. What fire officials know about the incidents and how many houses were affected.
Plus the black and gold scrimmage at the Greenbrier, how the Saints looked at the first big practice of 2015.
And the bright lights of Hollywood are shining bright on New Orleans, how the movie industry moved in after Hurricane Katrina as we take a look at the storm 10 years forward. Your news at 5 starts now.
On your side in Southeast Louisiana, this is WDSU News at 5.
2 suspicious fires within an hour of each other and just blocks apart.
One on Marigny Street, the other on North Durbany. And today investigators are busy trying to figure out the cause. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Scott Walker.
And I'm Camille Whitworth. One fire broke out in the 7th Ward, the other in St. Roch. These both happened minutes and blocks apart. WDSU reporter Andy Cunningham is live on Marigny Street. And Andy, what do investigators know about the fires now?
Well, Camille, this is still very early on in the investigation, but they are being investigated as suspicious. And just take a look here behind me here on Marigny Street. This is all that's left of that house now, just a pile of scorched wood and twisted metal. And less than a quarter mile from here, a second scene that has led to a joint investigation between the NOFD and Fire Marshal.
Frustrated about all this.
You know, it is a cost-effective and safe means to actually do it, and it has worked out great for us.
And the State Fire Marshal has put up these signs you see here behind me, asking anyone with information to call them. That's also the case for the fire that happened just down the road on North Durbany, and a potential cash reward available for callers. And neighbors on both streets and in both neighborhoods here say both properties have long been problematic for drugs to other serious crimes. That's why they're urging city leaders to do a better job of holding these landlords accountable for their properties. Reporting live on your side in St. Roch, I'm Andy Cunningham. Back to you.
All right, Andy, the NOPD says 125 fire department personnel were dispatched to both scenes. The first fire on Marigny Street was under control in 37 minutes. The second fire on North Durbany took more than an hour to get under control.
Let's turn now to your ExactCast. A hot day across the metro area. Let's rewind that. A very hot day out there, no doubt about it.
Rewind again and go really, really hot out there.
Yeah, it's brutal, no doubt. This is a live look outside right now. What you can't see is the heat, but you can only imagine. And Margaret, you're saying it's going from bad to worse, right?
That's right. We had record high temperatures today, and over the weekend, it's actually going to be hotter. That's why we've got a heat advisory posted over the weekend. Could become an excessive heat warning. Here is a look. We've got that heat advisory across our entire area, Saturday 10 o'clock through Sunday at 7. How hot it's going to be tomorrow, how long it's going to stay hot in my next ExactCast.
Margaret, thanks. 2 teen inmates are on the loose this evening after breaking out of a juvenile jail on the West Bank. It happened at BCCY, or Bridge City Center for Youth. Despite the breakout happening almost 12 hours ago, law enforcement officials only recently released the names of the escapees. They're identified as 15-year-old Rynell Nixon and 16-year-old Rashad Seals. Nixon is from New Orleans and was convicted of numerous counts of armed robbery, 1 count of simple robbery, and 1 count of aggravated assault. Police say the 2 teens cut a hole through a fence to escape. People living in Bridge City are on edge.
I was kind of shocked, really, because it's been quiet. Every now and then we hear about it, you know, something happens, but it's been a while since anything's happened, so it was kind of shocking.
Seals is from the Baton Rouge area and is in prison for burglary. The State Office of Juvenile Justice refused to release any information about either escapee. JPSO released their names at 4 p.m., almost 12 hours after the escape. Relatives and loved ones of a fallen St. Aug grad and U.S. Army specialist gathered to celebrate his life this morning. 22-year-old Caleb Collins was laid to rest at the Veterans Cemetery in Slidell. Family and friends paid their final respects at St. Joseph's Church prior to the burial. Specialist Collins died July 26th in Hawaii after trying to save a fellow soldier's wife from drowning. He graduated from St. Aug in 2011 and was stationed in Hawaii as a motor vehicle operator in the 25th Infantry Division.
Happening right now in Shreveport, Officer Thomas LaValle being remembered at a memorial service. The ceremony for the former Shreveport police officer started at 4 and visitation begins at 6. LaValle is being laid to rest in his hometown of Sangamon on Monday morning. During today's memorial, the end of watch ceremony was performed.
Dispatch to Officer Thomas Joseph LaValle. Badge 1284. We thank you for your dedication, loyalty, and for years of exemplary service to the Shreveport Police Department, the citizens of Shreveport, Louisiana, and the United States of America. You have made the people you have served and your family proud. Your sacrifices will not be forgotten. Rest in peace, Officer Thomas Joseph LaValle, Badge 1284, Code 8, forever.
LaValle joined Shreveport Police in 2011. Before that, he worked as a TV news photographer.
New information now from Uptown in a robbery at a popular snowball stand. Police identified this man, 51-year-old Michael Gambino, as a person of interest in the robbery of the Snow Wizard in the 4000 block of Magazine. That robbery happened Wednesday night, right before closing time. Surveillance video here shows a man walking up to the window and pointing a gun in the face of the snowball stand's manager. He then takes off with the tip jar. Nobody was injured, and police say Gambino is also considered a suspect in the burglary of an Uptown school in early June. A rough morning for a Metairie business.
A car crashing into a popular burger joint near Lakeside Mall. All of this happened at Phil's Grill this morning in the 3000 block of Severn. The restaurant posted these photos to their Facebook page. The car crashed into the front window of the restaurant, and in the Facebook post, the restaurant poked a little fun at the situation, saying, quote, "No, ma'am, we do not have a drive-through." The good news, no one was injured in this accident. A few hours later, the restaurant said they were cleaning up on one side and diners were enjoying their meal on the other side of the restaurant.
And make the best of a bad situation, I guess. In West Virginia today, the Saints back on the field for the black and gold scrimmage, and things weren't fantastic for this morning's practice. Weren't real good at all, in fact. WDSU sports anchor Sharif Ishak was at the scrimmage, but was not allowed to shoot any video of it because of a silly rule. Sharif, what did you think about the practice at the Greenbrier? How did they look?
Scott, glorified practice. No big hits, no deep plays down the field. The black and gold scrimmage didn't last that long this year. It went about an hour for the Saints. I can tell you that Drew Brees didn't play that much. He played one series with 6 of 7, threw a touchdown pass to Marcus Colson. Now, Brees did call the day a little sloppy. The referees were put to work on this day. Quite a few penalties, mostly false starts and encroachments. Now, all right, 5 offensive players didn't take part in the scrimmage, including running back C.J. Spiller. When Peyton was asked about his status, he's pretty much said, next question. Guys, back to you.
All right, Sharif, thank you. Coming up next at 5, the evolution of Hollywood South 10 years after Hurricane Katrina, how New Orleans has transformed in a matter of years as we take a look at the storm 10 years forward. And all new at 6, nearly everything inside one North Shore woman's home is sold, but without her knowledge, who police say is behind this bizarre home burglary. And being better prepared for disasters, a look at the changes set in motion to protect the Crescent City and surrounding areas in the threat of another major hurricane.
As we had a break, here's a live look outside on this Thursday. A gorgeous way to end the work week, and it's pretty hot out there. Your full Exactcast is ahead. In the decade since Hurricane Katrina, the lights, cameras, and action of Hollywood South have been a conspicuous part of our community.
No doubt about it. In 2014, Louisiana exceeded $800 million in production expense, and more than 13,000 film-related jobs have been created in the state since 2005. More than 100 movies and TV shows like the HBO series Treme have been shot here. Many of those productions casting the city of New Orleans in a key role.
WDSU reporter Travis Macco live now at 5 to show us how Katrina has changed the way the TV and film industry and the audience sees the city, the storm, and our world 10 years forward.
Scott, the storm is part of the recent history of this historic city. It's an event that touched everyone in some way, shape, or form, as we've seen over the last 10 years. Hollywood loves to use real-life events as part of the movie-making process. Inside Second Line Studios in the Lower Garden District.
I have another print. He gave it to me, and I was like, all right, I'm getting it framed. Yes, it's part of the story.
A few months ago during the legislative session, lawmakers capped the amount of money that the state can issue as tax credits for Hollywood South, reducing the number from over $200 million down to $185 million. Many in the industry urge Governor Jindal not to sign the bill into law, but as we all know by now, he did.
And Travers, why is that movie tax incentive program still extremely controversial?
It's big bucks and there has been some corruption. We all know that a high-ranking executive with the state's film office pleaded guilty to federal charges, as did the owner of a large production company. That happened years ago. Both served time in jail, and then last spring, 3 other people were convicted for crimes related to the film tax credit program in the state of Louisiana.
And even despite that, the industry goes on.
It does go on. More movies will be shot here with a New Orleans Katrina storyline.
All right, Travers, thank you.
I'm sure you noticed. In fact, we had record high temperatures, but the truth is we're going to have more record high temperatures over the weekend. Here's what happened today. We hit 97 at the airport. Ditto for Monday. Even on Tuesday, it's going to be hot. A weak cold front gets close, but doesn't really cool us down much.
All right, Margaret, thanks. Next at 5, determining contenders and pretenders following last night's GOP debate in Cleveland. Who the pundits say came out on top and who's taking a dip in the polls today.
A major debate last night in Cleveland.
The Republican showdown had the highest viewership of any presidential debate ever. But today the question is, did it shake up the race that has been led so far by Donald Trump? NBC's Steve Handelsman looks at that, plus what the candidates themselves did today.
I'm Steve Handelsman, NBC News, Cleveland.
One of the talking points today, the final talk times of the candidates in the debate. As Steve Handelsman mentioned, Scott Walker was 9th in talk time. Donald Trump came in first at more than 10 minutes. Jeb Bush was second. Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee came in third at 6.5 minutes.
Stay tuned for NBC Nightly News, and then it's WDSU News at 6 o'clock.
In the meantime, you get the latest news, weather, and sports anytime on our website, WDSU.com.
We'll see you soon.